Hello friends, in this episode I will install a CarPlay module on this 2012 Audi A6. For those new to my channel who don't know what a CarPlay module is, well, it's a small box that adds wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto and even mirroring functions to older media units that didn't come with these features from the factory. Let's move on to the unboxing. This time I'll be installing and reviewing a CarPlay module that my client bought from Joyeauto, although the installation steps are almost identical for most similar modules. To be honest, I would have preferred for my client to choose a module from AutoABC, the company I usually work with. I was very curious to see how this one performs, and by the end of the video you'll understand exactly why I say that. In the box we have a wiring diagram and instructions for connecting the smartphone to the module. The seller also provides an electronic installation manual. Here we have the module, which has an LVDS port and a power port on one side, and on the opposite side, of interest, there are only the USB port and the Wi-Fi antenna port. Next we have a main wiring harness that will connect to the HVAC console to take over the central console controls. A USB port for playing media files from a flash drive if you're interested in this feature. The LVDS cable that allows the Linux operating system interface to be displayed on the original screen. This is the Wi-Fi antenna. And this is another wiring harness that connects to the car's original Quadlock connector to take audio via aux, so this cable will connect to another port on the main wiring harness to take audio from the original media unit. We also have an external microphone which I won't use because the module allows the use of the original microphone for calls. Let's move to the car so I can show you how to install this module on the Audi A6. First, an important note: if you or a friend don't have a diagnostic tool, even a cheap universal one, it is recommended to disconnect the battery terminals and wait 10 minutes before starting this job. You'll need to disconnect the connector from the passenger airbag light, and this can trigger an airbag error on the dashboard. First, I'll use a plastic trim removal tool to remove the HVAC console. From here we will only disconnect the connector on the right. First, remove the red safety lock indicated with the pick tool. You can also use your fingers to remove it, then simply pull the connector out. We'll leave the HVAC console aside for now. The media unit is held in place by a single 8mm screw, and I'm glad Audi used such a simple system this time. I placed a cloth so I don't scratch the trim, and we simply pull the media unit out as it slides very easily. We can't fully remove the unit just yet because we have two connectors at the bottom, one on the right and one on the left. Both have a clip on the right side that needs to be pressed with your finger while pulling the connector out. Here's how it's done. From the back we remove the large Quadlock connector. It has a locking tab at the bottom that needs to be pressed, then a plastic lever must be lifted. We will also remove this gray connector that sends video to the original screen. I will now remove the LVDS cable connector and then the Quadlock connector by lifting this lever. Unfortunately, a few wires are in the way, so I had to detach them from the unit. I carefully cut the two zip ties that were holding the cables to the unit using cutters. I was then able to move the cables aside and pull the Quadlock connector out. Now I'll move on to removing the glove box. For this, we need to remove 5 8mm screws and also take off the side dashboard cover. I'll start with the side cover. Then we have 3 screws at the top of the dashboard. One here, and one here. Under the glove box we also have 2 more to remove. Hold the glove box with your hand so it doesn't drop suddenly. I say that because it has a connector attached to it. I will let the glove box hang by that cable since it seems strong enough. Some of the cables will be routed through here because we will place the module above the glove box. I'll start with this green connector. Now we need to remove the green connector from the Quadlock connector in order to connect it to this one. To do that, press this locking tab and pull the connector out. Now I connect the original connector to this aftermarket one. The original green connector will go back into the original Quadlock. The black connector from the main wiring harness that comes with the module will be connected to the original connector from the HVAC console. This connector will need to be routed to the glove box area. Here I have connected the audio cables and I will secure the connection with electrical tape. In fact, I will wrap the entire bundle of wires with electrical tape. For some media units, according to the wiring diagram, we need to connect this blue wire to a yellow one from the original Quadlock. I will now route all those wires into the glove box area right behind the HVAC console, not above where the original media unit goes. It is important to pull as much of the excess cable as possible so it doesn't interfere with sliding the media unit back in. Now the original gray LVDS connector goes into the port labeled LVDS out, and the LVDS in connector goes into the media unit in place of the gray one. The third connector will also be routed behind to reach the module. As I mentioned, this blue wire must be connected to a wire from the Quadlock. The blue wire needs to be connected to the yellow one, so I will strip a small section of the yellow wire and join the two wires together using electrical tape. I will now insert the Quadlock connector into the media unit. Make sure the lever is raised and after inserting the Quadlock, lower the lever to secure the connection. We can now reconnect the media unit connectors and slide it back into its original position. As you push it in, pull the cables going to the module so they don't get in the way. Don't forget to secure it with the screw. I already did a quick test and everything is working, so I can reinstall the HVAC console. We can now connect the module, and since I didn't disconnect the battery because I have a diagnostic tool, the module is already powered on. The dip switch settings differ depending on the car's media unit and configuration, and you can find them on the wiring diagram sheet. The module sits very well above the glove box because underneath it there is felt that absorbs shocks, and above it there is a dashboard element that keeps the module in place. To enter the menu, just press and hold the nav button and release. You can then scroll through the menu using the joystick and the back button. For audio, set the source to Bluetooth from the car's original menu. For both iOS and Android smartphones, you will need to pair the phone with the module via Bluetooth. Of course, when you start the car or enable Bluetooth on your phone, the connection will be made automatically. I will have to use no copyright music in the background at certain moments of the video to avoid copyright claims.
Let's take National Road 3 and Freeway A2.
Hey Siri, drive to Berlin using Waze.
Getting driving directions to Berlin using Waze.
Feel
We're all set. Drive safely.
He returns to the sea, into the blue. And they change better than a cycle.
If you wanna know what it's like, I can't stay here forever. Stay here forever. Life, baby. Till you lose it all and don't give in. Till it's written. The constellations call me female. Dangerous, risky on surface. The consequences life written.
And now we've reached the conclusion part. In terms of installation difficulty, I have to say that installing a CarPlay module on an Audi A6 is actually very easy, especially if you follow this tutorial. Regarding this specific module, however, there are quite a few things I don't like, and I'll explain why. First of all, they could have gone with a simple Quadlock aux connection instead of requiring you to remove the smaller dedicated aux connector from the original Quadlock plug. It also requires stripping installation from one of the factory wires and connecting an additional wire to it. I also ran into an issue with Waze where I simply could not exit back to Android Auto. Compared to the AutoABC modules I usually install, this one also has a more complicated menu system. Even for me, it took a bit of time to connect the phone and configure everything properly. Another thing I already mentioned to Joyeauto is that the screen mirroring performance is not good at all, regardless of the smartphone being used. And perhaps the most important factor is the price. Joyeauto sells this module for around $365, while AutoABC offers a similar module for around $200. On top of that, they also provide a 20% discount code, which brings the final price down to just $159. You'll find the product link and the discount code in the description and comment section of this video. Bottom line, I recommended that the owner return the Joyeauto module and buy the cheaper, faster and simpler option from AutoABC instead. Since the installation process is almost identical, I'm not going to make a separate installation tutorial, but I will add a review of the Audi A6 AutoABC MIB2 module so you can clearly see how well it performs compared to this one, even though it costs less than half the price of the Joyeauto unit. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to support the effort behind this tutorial and review with a simple like, comment and subscribe. It really means a lot for this channel. Safe trips and all the best.